Well, shalom, everyone, from the Tabernacle of David, Prophetic Dance Center in Jerusalem. I wanted to encourage you and speak to you about worship today. You know, child of God, you are not alone when you go through a battle of trying to worship, but things in this world try to steal your attention. Worship is always the answer. Whenever we turn our hearts toward God, we are encouraged. But you know, when we think of worship, we think of song and dance and doing things artistically, right? Playing instruments, making music. But worship is much more than that. It's a heart turned towards God. I'm expecting my niece for a visit, and I had so much fun preparing for her visit. And you know, it occurred to me that that was worship unto God, because when we honor and love our loved ones, when we act in a way that is loving toward them, we are honoring God. When we honor ourselves and others, we are honoring God, and it is a form of worship. The Bible says that whatever we do unto God, it is worship. So it's not just making music. This is what we think of when we think of worship. We think of rejoicing with our voices and with music, and all of that is so important. But it is also, and very importantly, using your gifts for God. This is worship. Because whatever He has given to us, and we turn around and we surrender it back to Him for His glory, we use it for His glory, it is worship. Now, I know that I'm not the only one that struggles with worship if I'm feeling downcast, and that's why it's called a sacrifice of praise. But worship is always your answer. It always will turn things around. There's been some things happening in my life that could really, in my humanity, cause me to stress and be anxious. But I have to keep shutting that door and saying, no, I will dance on the head of the enemy. I will worship on the head of the enemy. I know that worship, outwardly praising God and dancing and aggressively singing and making music to the Lord and warring in the Spirit and using those wonderful gifts for the glory of God, I know that it will turn things around for me. I know that I know that I know that I know that I know, because it always does. Whenever we surrender our lives to God, things will always go on an upswing. So I want to encourage you, you're not alone, and the enemy will try to use physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, all kinds of attacks to get your eyes off of God, to derail you, to distract you. And we have to understand that that is a tactic from our adversary. And we have to get on the aggressive, on the offense, and we have to go at the enemy by praising God. The answer is always praising God. That's why it's called weapons of warfare, and praise is your greatest weapon of warfare. God bless you from the city of the great King, Jerusalem.